Alright guys, I'm back. So, Tilda's going to polish up that gear, put the end plate on, and I did. I used some 400 and some 800 paper and polished it down really nice. So I thought, put the end plate on now, just tighten this a little bit, just enough to squish the washer there. It's not actually really tight, but here's the problem. It's not moving at all. Now, there's no gasket in there. I left the gasket out because in theory we should not have a gasket, but that's way too tight. Take these off just a little bit, and look at there, it'll spin. So there's still not quite enough clearance in here. We're either going to have to find a really thin shim to put under here, or polish that gear down a little bit more. I'm going to try a couple more things, see what I can come up with. Like I said, the one that was on the other motor had a real tiny paper thin gasket. I may try laying the template out by hand, cut one out with an X-Acto knife, but that's really tedious and I really don't want to do that if I don't have to. So pull these off of here real quick so you can see what's going on in there. Pull that off of there. Pull that off. There's just a little thin film of oil in there. That's where I was lubing it up, make sure it didn't get sticky. And then right there, see, it spins beautiful like that, but you know, it's hard to tell. There's just something in here that's sticking up just a tiny bit too much. I don't know if it's the main gear here, if that's too tight, but it's got room to wiggle down here, so you'd think it would just push it out enough and have plenty of room. Or it's this other eccentric here, maybe that's just a couple thousandths too thick. It was in there before, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to try to polish this down a little bit more, but before I do that, a clean spot on the bench, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the plate back on with just this inner gear, nothing rubbing on it, and see if that end plate pushes down on this too hard. This might be where the problem is instead of the other one. So I'm going to try that, put this back together, see what we can come up with. Matter of fact, I can do that real quick while y'all are hanging on. Clean some of the oil out of here on my mating surfaces. Put this back together here. And like I said, all we've got in here is this, the gear that's on the end shaft there. Put that in there. And we got, okay, finger tight. There's a tiny bit of tension. I don't know if you can hear it, but you can see it's not tightened down all the way. So let's put just a little bit on that. You can tell I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on there. There we go. Just enough to squeeze the washers down. And there it is. That's what's binding this up. Now if I force it, I can get it to go. But we don't want to do that. We want it to run nice and smooth. So I'm going to try to work with this a little bit more, see what I can come up with. I'll get back with you guys.